Hi guys, welcome back to another LJ Tech Tips video. Today we'll be looking at my iPhone 2G 16GB. Now this iPhone was released nearly two decades ago, and we're now in the world of folding screens and AI powered phones. It's just a really nice refresher going back to a phone like this in today's world. Now, I did have a few problems getting this phone working. First off is Apple's disconnected the servers for this phone to iTunes restore it. That helps essentially get the phone, functioning as it is. So how did I go ahead and get past this? Now I had to watch a couple tutorials, and I had to end up jailbreaking it. Now that's not what I originally wanted to do, but there's nothing that I could do to prevent that. Now this phone's battery still works, and it works quite fine actually. This is the rough capacity, so it's a 16GB version, and it's got the iOS version 3.1.2, and there's no carrier, and that's all the stuff for it. Now, this phone still has fantastic functionality as an MP3 player, or as a phone to take photos of, like in a vintage style. For example, here I took this photo of this nice car in front that I saw on the road. It still takes fantastic pictures if you want that retro look to your photos, which I don't mind. Now this phone only has a back-facing camera. There is actually no front-facing camera, and it cannot record any video. So it's quite, it's the first phone. There's always going to be stuff which we don't have. Now, this phone, I find, has quite a fascinating feature. I'm just making sure before I show this it's not too close to anything. Now, Google Maps still seems to function fine. I'm just in a random area at the moment on maps, but I can zoom in and it all functions fine, which is quite surprising. And I can still say hotspot from my iPhone 15 onto this to get maps working, because in Australia the government's discontinued 2G. Now, our other feature which I'm using this for is taking just little random notes. As you can see, I've written a few here, and it does actually have autocorrect, which I find quite fascinating for a phone this early. Now, obviously, web browsing doesn't work. Say, I can get to Google. As you can see here, I can load to Google. But whenever I try and search anything like... it's got some really nice sound effects. It comes up with this error. Now, it's just because I believe the phone Safari is just too out of date. And it does have a gyro, which means I can go ahead and put the phone into landscape and portrait orientation, which I find is quite handy. And it still does connect to modern Wi-Fi. I've got it connected to a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi router at the moment, but 5 gigahertz I don't believe works. I didn't try it. Now there's still things like the App Store which crash. They can't find the servers because Apple's taken them off, and there's no double click when you hit the home button. It brings up actually the phone, and as they've discontinued the 2G support for this phone, you can't do anything. Now, what I do use this phone regularly for is the music as a music player, it's quite nice to use the on-top audio jack. It is recessed though, so it's harder to just use a random headphone jack. It's hard to find an actual a pair of earphones that actually do fit in there, but when it does work, it's quite nice. Now you've got at the bottom the 30 pin and one speaker and one microphone. It's not the loudest, but it gets the job done. And you've also got a silent switch as well. And it's got a really nice vibration motor to it. It's a very firm vibration. But I was very surprised that the Maps app worked, and worked well. It was still very smooth for a phone of this age, obviously. Now I can do tweaks for this phone in Cydia as well, but I'm not really interested in doing it. I'm trying to keep the phone as original as possible. The YouTube app, it's nice to see the old logo, but nothing seems to load as it can't connect to the servers, but you can still see stuff like this, which is nice, but there's no double click, it's just a single click. And I believe it does close the apps, which is again quite fascinating. And there's no swipe up, swipe down, it's just these are your apps, this is what you can do. And I also believe that you can't set a wallpaper here. Yeah, I can set a wallpaper, sorry. But yeah, these are the original wallpapers, quite fascinating. One charge for just playing music on this phone lasts me about, say, 2 days. Not playing music consistently, but it's got quite a nice battery life, and I found this at an e-waste recycler, so I got it for nothing. But it's really interesting to save these type of phones from landfill, and yeah, it's quite nice to preserve history, and this is a really nice example. There is a little chip at the top of the phone, but it's, you know, it's really, really nice. There's no scratches on the screen. It's very, very nice. But yes, I've just really liked using it. It's quite a nice phone, and I just connect it to my car and go from there, not via Bluetooth. I just use the headphone jack at the top, and the audio coming out of it's really, really crisp, and it sounds quite nice. Yeah, and thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and I can't wait for you guys to tune in next time. Thanks again.